And how's everyone doing today? Welcome back to the Fallacious Truth. We're back today with an interesting segue into a topic of justification. Justification of what, you might ask? Well, just stay tuned to find out here.
All right, fellas, this one is for you. This is to all the men that want me to address women cheating. When a woman cheats on you, that was literally her last straw. She is at her wit's end. Now, I'm not defending women cheating, but you were definitely warned, because a woman will try to tell you that she's been neglected, unappreciated, undervalued for years before she does something like that. So whenever she cheats on you, that was like, trust me, she sat there, she thought about all the consequences, she contemplated everything, and she did it. She don't... That's unimaginable, especially if there's children involved. So if a woman cheats, she doesn't love you.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
So here we have a female that is telling us just why women cheat, and further goes on to justify said actions. She goes on to say that if a female cheats on you, that's her last straw. That she's at her wit's end. And, well, the interesting part is she makes it a point to say, "No, I'm not defending cheating, but you've definitely been warned," because a woman will try to tell you that she is being neglected, unappreciated, and undervalued for years before she'll ever do anything. So whenever she cheats on you, she ultimately sat there, she thought about all of the consequences, she contemplated everything. And she goes on to say that it's unimaginable that she'd do that if there's children involved, obviously pointing to the fact that the man has to be horrible for that to happen. So finally, she goes on to say, so if a woman cheats, she simply doesn't love you. Now, I may be hearing things incorrectly here, but that sure sounds like a justification to me. It certainly sounds like she's defending women for cheating, when she specifically says that she's not trying to do that. I wonder what the public outcry would be if a man tried to use one of those things as valid justification for cheating. Anyone have any thoughts on that? I had to take a minute here to think about how to approach this one, simply because she's first telling us that she isn't defending cheating, but then continues on into just how cheating is justifiable and defendable to her. And that's what I wanted to bring up here. It's how women can seem to find justification for just about anything they do. All they have to do is use the mantra and the absolution of the "you go girl" and "you are a queen. You deserve whatever is necessary to make yourself happy." No, I'm not knocking someone for wanting to be happy. I'm knocking the idea of you only being involved until something better comes along. I'm knocking the idea that you are justified in using X until Y comes along to give you something better, because at that point you're simply using him, and this becomes justifiable to you in other parts of your life because you simply lack any honor and integrity due to the modern womanist view. To you, the specific ending that you want justifies any means. I mean, nowadays, with cheating far easier than it used to be because of social media, statistics now show that women cheat far more than men do, and it's justified by the masses as the liberation of women. Women trying to be like men and women using men to obtain a better lifestyle as a whole. This gets taken up 10 levels when children are involved, because now the father is trying to combat the mother to not only keep the shirt on his back, but he's fighting to be in his child's life. And sadly, men give up in the long run because it is an endless cycle and ultimately a losing battle if you are not prepared. And that's what I ultimately wanted to bring up here. It's the fact that a female can find justification for anything. And my question now is why? How is this possible? It's inconceivable for any normal individual that had any kind of normal upbringing that valued morals and values and integrity. But you can't talk like that anymore, can you? You can't, as a man, state that you're looking for these qualities. And the reason why you're told that is because in this modern society, everything is subjective. Nothing is set in stone. There is no right and wrong anymore, as right and wrong can fluctuate depending on how somebody feels. You have to have a standard of morality. Without it, you have a chaotic society, and you have people justifying anything and everything that they do. And we're now seeing the negative results of this in society. Women have taken this bull by the horns and have run with it in the worst ways possible. And to take this one step further, they're now saying, be damned anybody else. I'm going to do whatever I want. I don't care what the results are. I don't care how this negatively affects somebody else. Can you imagine a man thinking that way in today's society? Let alone making that thought process public. And here's some nonsense for your viewing pleasure, because I feel like I'm going to run off on a tangent here if I don't. So aside from the cringe level from watching that, have you ever seen the same standards applied to men? No, of course not. The same standards would never be applied to a man, and if you ever brought it up, you would be labeled a misogynist without even getting the first sentence out. Now, within the next few videos, I'm going to be starting a series where I dive pretty deep into what a man needs to do in order to keep his shirt, keep his wallet, keep his possessions, and pretty much anything he has of value when a female you're married to starts to cheat, and even when you have children together. Most importantly, I'm going to explain what you need to do in order to make sure that you are still a significant part in your child's life. Most fathers aren't content with being a small part of their child's life, or being an every other weekend father, or a once in a while birthday or holiday father. It's absolutely important, especially if you have a boy. It's vital. It is necessary that you are a positive role model in his life. And I'm going to try to tell you to the best of my knowledge and experience how you can achieve this. The double standards for men in today's society cannot be overstated. If you perform action A, you will be chastised, berated, canceled, etc. by society, but that same action can be performed by the woman and she will get an "atta go girl," and it's not that bad, all of us do it. You get the idea. I digress though. There are indeed some specific things you can do to make sure you have some kind of standing if you make the foolish mistake of getting married. You can mitigate some of those negative consequences, but by the very nature of marriage and modern society, you can expect to lose at least 50% of your possessions. And prenups, unless done in a specific way under specific circumstances, really aren't worth the paper that they're printed on. The main issue, however, will come down to your children. How you must never lose the will by allowing her to break your will to fight for them. Because ultimately, in a lot of cases, that's what ends up happening. What eventually ends up happening is us men will work ourselves to the point where it's a necessity for us to medicate ourselves in some way, shape, or form to go forward when it comes to a child that we would literally take on the entire world for. The goal, however, is to set up the necessary provisions and make the necessary steps strategically in order to achieve a more positive outcome. Now, when I actually do the videos on this, it's going to take a good bit of deconstructing of several topics and the planning of several different strategies and how to verbalize them to actually get them on the video. This, again, will be in a future video series, and I can't overestimate the importance of it. I'm sorry, this video started out as one thing and completely turned into something else that I wasn't expecting. When I originally thought about starting this channel, it was at the expressed intention of going through just what is necessary so one doesn't end up homeless, or in a one-room apartment with nothing but a TV and mattress on the floor, and what's necessary so you don't end up in handcuffs when she goes to lie to the police and tell them something that you never did. At that point, it's simply your word against hers, and in that situation, your word is really worth about as much as a $3 bill to them. At that point, your freedom and you having some semblance of control in your child's life from that moment forward is solely dependent on you having proof or evidence to back up what you are saying to them. My friends, above all else, simply remember this. You are dealing with a new breed of female here who has little common sense. She has the "I can do what I want and get away with it," and quite honestly, for the most part, she can. With zero negative consequences, I might add. You are dealing with the modern female, and by default, you are at a disadvantage. And without planning and strategy, you will always be at that disadvantage. Thank you for tuning in with me today. I really wasn't sure what I was going to cover or go over, so it kind of just organically moved into my original intent for this channel, which will end up being a several-part series sometime in the next coming weeks. Please stay tuned as I start to design it, put it together, and explain all the topics that I can in as great a detail as possible. Thank you, fellas. Have a good rest of your day and take care. And always remember, you don't have to let yourself be at a disadvantage.